Welcome, enthusiasts. Today we explore the genesis of a machine that redefined the global automotive landscape, the 1938 Volkswagen Beetle, originally known as the Type 1. This wasn't just a car, it was a feat of engineering designed to be accessible, durable, and reliable. At a time when car ownership was a luxury, the Beetle sought to put a nation on wheels. Its distinctive silhouette is recognized in every corner of the globe, but the story beneath that curved steel is one of mechanical ingenuity and survival. From its early prototypes to the first production models leaving the factory in 1938, we're diving deep into the technical specifications and the cultural impact of this air-cooled marvel. Let's look at how the Volkswagen, the people's car, became the foundation for a global empire.
The Beetle's architecture was dictated by a very strict design brief given to Ferdinand Porsche. To make the car practical for the average family, it had to meet specific performance benchmarks. It needed to sustain a speed of 100 kilometers per hour on the newly constructed autobahns, carry 2 adults and 3 children, and maintain an impressive fuel efficiency of 7 liters per 100 kilometers. This required a lightweight chassis and a streamlined shape. The aerodynamic bug shape wasn't a stylistic choice, it was a functional necessity to reduce drag and improve performance given the modest power output available at the time. This focus on efficiency over vanity is why the Beetle remains a masterclass in functional design.
What truly set the Type 1 apart was its rear-mounted air-cooled boxer engine. The initial 1938 production model featured a 985cc displacement, producing roughly 24 horsepower. Why air-cooled? It eliminated the need for a radiator, water pump, and coolant, which were prone to freezing in harsh winters or leaking in extreme heat. This simplification drastically reduced maintenance needs and enhanced reliability in remote areas. The boxer layout, with horizontally opposed cylinders, kept the center of gravity low, improving handling stability despite the rear heavy bias. For a modern collector, this engine is a dream to work on, requiring only basic tools and a solid understanding of timing and valve clearances.
In 1938, the factory town of Wolfsburg was established specifically to manufacture this vehicle. Before it was the Beetle, it was marketed as the KDF wagon, under a savings scheme where citizens could contribute 5 marks a week toward their future car. While the geopolitical climate of the late 30s redirected much of the production toward military variants, the foundation for mass production was laid. The engineering of the chassis, a central backbone tube with independent torsion bar suspension, was revolutionary. This setup provided better ride quality than many luxury cars of the era that still utilized rigid axles and leaf springs. It was a sophisticated foundation for a car meant for the common worker.
When World War II broke out, the Beetle's robust design was tested in the most grueling conditions. The civilian Type 1 production was largely paused as the chassis was adapted for the military Kübelwagen and the amphibious Schwimmwagen. The air-cooled engine proved its worth in the deserts of North Africa and the frozen steppes of Russia, where water-cooled engines failed. This period served as an unintended, brutal proving ground. Every mechanical weakness discovered during the war was addressed in the post-war refinements, making the civilian Beetle that emerged in 1945 one of the most thoroughly torture-tested vehicles in history. The car's survival through this era is a testament to Porsche's initial engineering philosophy.
After 1945, under the guidance of British Major Ivan Hurst, the factory was saved from demolition and resumed production. This marked the beginning of the Beetle's true global ascent. By the 1950s, Volkswagens were being exported to over 100 countries. The split window design of the 1938-1952 models became a highly coveted feature for collectors. It was during this era that the car gained its reputation for build quality. Volkswagen famously claimed that the Beetle was so airtight it could float, a marketing boast that emphasized the precision of its assembly. For the owner, this meant a quiet cabin and a body that resisted the rattles and leaks common in other affordable cars of the period.
For the classic car enthusiast, maintaining a 1938-era Type 1 is a tactile and rewarding experience. Because there are no complex electronics, the health of the engine depends on 3 things: fuel, spark, and air. Routine maintenance is critical. You must check the oil levels every 500 miles, as the 2.5-quart capacity leaves little room for error. Valve adjustments are required every 3,000 miles to prevent burnt valves, a common issue in air-cooled heads. The ignition points must be gapped correctly to ensure the 6-volt electrical system provides enough spark. Mastering these simple tasks not only keeps the Beetle on the road, but also connects you to a bygone era of mechanical purity where the driver was truly in tune with the machine.
In the late 1950s and 60s, the Beetle became the star of the most successful advertising campaign in history. Created by DDB, the Think Small campaign turned the Beetle's perceived weaknesses, its small size and odd shape, into its greatest strengths. At a time when American cars were growing larger and more ornate, VW marketed the Beetle as the honest, sensible alternative. This irony-filled approach resonated with a new generation. It solidified the Beetle not just as a car, but as a counterculture symbol. Even though the 1938 roots were humble, by the 1960s, the Beetle was the ultimate statement of individuality. For the modern enthusiast, owning a Beetle is an embrace of this minimalist, less is more philosophy.
While the 1938 model started with 24 horsepower, the Beetle never stopped evolving. Throughout its 65-year production run, the engine displacement grew to 1,200, 1,300, 1,500, and finally 1,600 cc's. Suspension moved from the original swing axle design to a more sophisticated semi-trailing arm setup in the later Super Beetles to address handling concerns. However, the core DNA, the rear engine, air-cooled, platform chassis layout, remained unchanged. This consistency allowed for incredible parts interchangeability. Today, you can often fit parts from a 1970s Beetle onto a much earlier model with minimal modification. This Lego-like modularity is why the Beetle is one of the most customized and restored cars in the world, with a massive aftermarket support network. The final original Beetle rolled off the production line in Puebla, Mexico in 2003, but the spirit of the 1938 original lives on. For the modern owner, preservation is about protecting the car's integrity while enjoying its unique driving dynamics. Whether you are performing a concourse restoration or building a custom California-look cruiser, the community support is unparalleled. The 1938 Volkswagen Beetle taught the world that a car could be reliable, charming, and affordable all at once. It remains the benchmark for automotive longevity. As we move into an era of electric vehicles, the Beetle's simple, air-cooled legacy serves as a reminder of what pure engineering can achieve. Keep those engines running and keep thinking small.